During Mary Wollstonecraft's time, there were few women writers in general and novelists. In some of the other chapters in this book, if we look at them, it becomes clear that one of Mary Wollstonecraft's problems is that she has hardly any woman writer whom she can cite with any authority or respect. Thus, she dismisses Hester Piozzi and Madame de Staël as unthinking supporters of Samuel Johnson and Rousseau, and she regards them as clear victims of conditioning by patriarchy. And therefore, sadly enough, she does not have any role model to follow or to recommend to others. Two writers, Catherine Macaulay and Mrs. Chapon, are the only two precursors on the theme of women's education whom Wollstonecraft can feature or refer with dignity. The depressed condition of women then was marked by an enfeebling education, no career, no economic independence, and no sense of a support network with women achievers. Thus, with regard to the appalling contemporary position of women and their lack of education, it is largely men who comprise the circle to which Vindication is designed to appeal. After all, it is they, and here lies the bitter irony, who have to be rationally persuaded to grant women the rights which are their due. Thus, as we have seen, she dedicates her book to Bishop Talleyrand of France, with whose work on education and on civil liberties Wollstonecraft was well aware of. And she writes to persuade him and other like-minded men that, quote, when men contend for their freedom and to be allowed to judge for themselves, respecting their own freedom, and to be allowed to judge for themselves respecting their own happiness, it inconsistent and unjust to subjugate women, even though you firmly believe that you are acting in the manner best calculated to promote their happiness, unquote. So she is saying that though apparently it might seem that by their actions they are promoting the happiness of women, actually they are doing exactly the opposite. So perhaps they mean well, but their actual actions do not sort of support that kind of well-meaning thoughts. So as we see, Wollstonecraft's text is addressed to women in the sense that it concerns their rights and education. It is an open question, however, as to how sympathetic her early women readers found this text. As Mary Wollstonecraft wrote, quote, I earnestly wish to point out in what true dignity and happiness consists. I wish to persuade women to endeavor to acquire strength, both of mind and body, to show that elegance is inferior to virtue, that the first object of laudable ambition is to obtain a character as a human being, regardless of the distinction of sex, unquote. So here also she insists on the fact that women should be concerned more with achieving the the status of a human being rather than to sort of trying to acquire a kind of superficial elegance of appearance. That was not important. What was important was the attainment of true dignity and happiness. And that was something that she advocated in the case of men as well as women, not to be discriminated on the basis of sex.